Started life as a 1.5 D series non-VTEC engine. Very boring, very slow. I've since swapped it with a D16 Z6 VTEC engine. Not much faster, but the mighty VTEC progresses over non-VTEC. It was a full swap from a donor car, auto to manual swap. It's got stainless exhaust manifold, decap and a catback all the way. Upgraded plugs, leads, bumper mounted air filter. It was never really built for any power. The D series often gets overlooked a lot because of the power of the B series or the K series. So I decided to stick with the D series engine. I didn't really want tons of power. A little bit more torque and a little bit more performance was always a bonus over the non-VTEC, but it didn't have to be something that was going to tear your head off, or it's not built for racing, it's just built for enjoyment. I would really like to turbo it at some point. That would be really nice. You can't beat a bit of boost, but many other projects will come unfortunately before that, and this has just given me enough for now. The history of the car.
Yeah.
And when I got it.
Yeah, when did you get the car?
So, got a car back in 2009. It was advertised on eBay for repairs. I was looking for a project car at the time, and it was like, I really wanted something Jap. I had something French before and really was obsessed with Jap cars, but obviously it was expensive to a 17-year-old lad, and this came up. I was 19, popped up on eBay, 130 quid, blown head gasket, no arches left on it, bogger spec, no VTEC, no anything. So a little trip down to York and we bought the car, brought it home after filling it up about 4 times with coolant. And that's how it started. I kind of began. It was blue when I got it. Didn't have anything done to it apart from parcel shelf made out of a piece of metal and floor mats that were screwed to the floor. The start of what was going to be projects and the start of JDM life.
What was your inspiration for the car?
Inspiration. Hard to say kind of what the inspiration was. What I've built now is kind of how I wanted the car when I was 21. Didn't have the money, experience, the time. I didn't have a place like this where I could build cars. Just kind of relying on my uncles to use their spray booth at the time and to buy things off eBay or whatever I could find on very early Facebook. It kind of happened during COVID where I thought, well, I'm going to rebuild this car, although there's a million other projects sat behind that camera. This one I kind of just really wanted to do the most. Started off as like a project show car, then turned into a winter car, which then turned into a garage ornament, and then just turned into a shelf for a long time. Over the years of having it, I'd bought a lot of parts, interior bits, bonnets, splitter, wheels, and they was all just piling up and to a point where I kind of ran out of space about putting them on the car. So I just thought I would make a start. I started off by little bits off the car, stripping it back to see what was off. Take the side skirts off to find that the sills had disappeared, as with old Hondas. So new panels on the sills, arches, and then it kind of just built up from there.
What was your first mod?
First mod. I think I put some amber corners on it, actually, some amber indicators. That was the first kind of thing that I did. That was the cool thing to do at the time. I was still obviously young, doing silly things, but I'd done a lot to my Peugeot, which I'd kind of gone past the whole max power stage and spoilers and big boot builds, and was more into like this OEM plus kind of thing. So I tried to keep it a little bit like that, amber corners, VTI lip. I put some Coney coilovers on it, a set of NK wheels, not the one that's on it now, and it just kind of started building up like that. Back box on it, cup holders, armrests, bits inside, full respray that I did myself. My uncles helped me put the arches in, and I resprayed it just the same colour, Captiva blue. Still had the black bonnet, black roof, black boot that it's got today. Different to what it's on it now, but OEM. Daft little bits. It did look kind of very similar to what it looks like now, but...
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. Don't say that. Cut that out.
Why did you paint it green?
I love green. Car was blue initially, Captiva blue. Really nice, and it was. I did like the blue and black accents that was on it. I really wanted to change up. At the time when I painted it a lot of years ago, I'd wished I'd painted it something more flamboyant, a bit brighter, nicer. But at the time I was still very limited as to what I could do. I'd only just learned how to paint, and then having to paint door shuts and engine bay and everything else that goes with it seemed like a big hassle. Whereas I thought this time around I wanted it to become something completely different. I'd scoured the internet looking for different colours, orange, maybe just white, a grey maybe. But it all kind of been done a lot of times before, where there was not a lot of green Civics that are like this one. There was all like the standard aquamarines and Midoris and stuff like that, and there was nothing else like it. I'd seen one that was a little bit similar and just thought that's the green for me. I found a million different paint codes, different things that I wanted, colours of bikes, cars, trucks, anything that was like this exact kind of green. Went to the paint shop with 4 or 5 different examples, and the guy in the paint shop just pulled his book out and went, "What about that one?" And I just went, "Yeah, that's the one for me."
Why Civic?
I loved Civics really, and they were like the entry level into Japanese car ownership. I still was only 19, so I couldn't afford something like S-body or GTR or anything like that, and they'd have to come later on. So I got Civic. I thought that would be like a nice little start, easy, kind of get into, 3-door. I didn't really know at the time. I didn't really know what I wanted. I just wanted something Japanese, but then there's just something about Hondas that just bites you, and all of a sudden you end up obsessed with all the little parts you can put on, making them better than what they were. And there's such a culture following, there's enthusiasts worldwide, just a really like a nice community to be part of. There's a lot of clubs at the time, a lot of forums that we don't have anymore, but it was just a really nice entry level into buying Jap cars.
What's the rarest parts you've got on the car?
In terms of like parts that I've put on it, some stuff is, although it's not so rare, it's become more like uncommon now and hard to get hold of or very expensive. I think one of my favourite things I've done is probably the interior, and although it often gets overlooked, people who don't know a lot about Hondas just think it's some of the interior or you just put the seats down, but actually I've ripped out completely the UK interior, I re-put the whole JDM interior in, so new brackets in the back for the seats, so I've only got 4 seats that fold down flat, the boot box, the side, the gathers, speakers. Took me a long time to find a complete set of bits and pieces. I managed to piece them together from 3 or 4 different sellers. Retrimmed the headlining, the door cards, re-dyed the carpet, and I think as a whole, it just, for me, that's where I spend my time, and it's a place I do enjoy being. It's although like I say, a lot of people just kind of overlook that and think actually it's just a standard thing, but actually it took a lot of work and effort to get to that, and you spend all your time inside the car. It's always nice to look at it, but when you're driving it, like, experience is from the inside, and I think that I'm really happy with how that's turned out.
What would you do differently?
I don't know. I think if I was to do it again, I probably would put a bigger engine in. It does feel like it's not a complete build without that kind of top end engine. A nice B series would probably be more period. I have very much tried to keep the car that kind of 90s feel about it. The vents and the lip and all those kind of things that were happening when it was like golden era Honda time. And even like the seats at period and everything like that. So I think I'll probably stick a B series in it. That would probably make it that little bit more enjoyable, a bit faster than what it is now. Other than that, I think like I'm pretty happy with how it looks, how it feels. It'd be nice if everything didn't vibrate so much and when on a drive, but it's still a really enjoyable place to be. And I think for me, it might not be for everyone's taste, but for me, I've captured exactly like what I wanted. This is the exact car that I wanted when I was 21 years old, and that's what I promised myself when I started building it. That's what I'd do, and I wouldn't scrimp and scrape, and I would just buy the parts that I wanted and do it. And if people didn't like it, they didn't like it, but I wanted this car the way it is, and I can still sit on the other side of the workshop and just all day could just happily just sit there, look at it, walk around it, go sit in it.
What are your future plans?
We've kind of become to this part of car building where you've got to be always forever building and increasing, and you've built something, you've got it into some big shows, and the next year, right, I need to build it again and change the colour and change the wheels. But for me, I don't really want to do any more to it. I could say engine swap maybe down the line, or little boosty boy on it, it would be really nice, but I think other than that, it's what I built it to be the way it is, and I don't want to then change things for the sake of changing them. That's just seems a bit pointless to me. I'd rather keep it how I want it to build, concentrate on other things. I have a million other cars to do and no time and no money, but I think for me the Civic is, projects are never done, there's always little things that need to be tweaked and changed, but I think for me it's kind of in its final form, if you want to put it that way.
What's the name of the car club?
Don't ask me that.
What is Sokudo?
It's definitely not a little game where you do numbers 1 to 9 across the board, I can tell you that. So Sokudo is a car club based in Hull, Japanese only focus. We started it just at the start of this year. For many years we've been involved in other groups and other clubs, and we kind of wanted to just keep a bit of a fresh, like, Japanese car culture to Hull and East Yorkshire, doing our own events, bringing people together, freshening things up. We've had numerous events this year. We've done shows at Wivency, drag strips, and we've been to various other shows. We've done a tyres and takeaway event, absolutely packed it out. And although we are a club, we're more like community. We all help each other, we get on. We have Sokudo Wednesdays where we do stuff like this, features for people. We do help each other on each other's cars, and we go out, we'll have a coffee, or we'll do other things, or we'll go to other people's shows, and it's kind of just become this kind of gathering of people that all have the same passion, the same enjoyment. We all love Japanese cars. We all know they're superior to every other car manufacturers out there. So just that kind of love and that passion for pieces of rusty metal that brings people together is outstanding, really. Something so small that most people just get in, drive to work, drive home again and think nothing of it. Something that we've kind of fallen in love with and spend all our time thinking about, planning, doing, and then go and share that with everybody else around you is a fantastic feeling.
We just need to talk about.
And for an everyday kind of daily car, and just for tooling around in, it's...
You're daily it?
Right, okay.
How much have you
Big
spent
up
on
the
car?
single overhead cam. Like.
Do that again.
What?
Big up, yeah.
Big up the single overhead cam.